Students who had creepy professors. When did things go south? What I would like you to do is wear hot pants, knee-high boots, a crop top, and roam through the professor's lounge during lunch and offer more coffee, tea, and water. This was my job description for a work-study job in my second year of college. For those that don't know, work-study is a job on campus that directly pays off a tiny bit of your tuition a little at a time. I really needed this job. The job I had the year before was in the admissions office, and through some weird turn of events which I never could identify, this woman wanted me around the professors and college faculty dressed like that. Serving them. Dressed like that. Yes, it was a woman that wanted this from me. I felt it was wrong and unacceptable, and yes, this was the late 1970s when that type of dress was popular fashion, but what she was trying to do was use me to get the faculty to eat at her new faculty lounge on campus. In those days, male professors outnumbered female professors 20-1. This was an engineering college and it was a private college. I accepted the job because I needed it, but there was no way I was going to show up dressed that way. I showed up and she immediately had me change into a more form-fitting uniform. It wasn't long before some of the less dignified tenured professors began making conversation and sexist innuendos. I overheard one say, "Finally, someone around who has decent boobs." I felt so ashamed. I felt so ashamed to be a young woman. I felt so ashamed that they only cared about my looks and not about the fact that I lived in a corner of someone's basement for housing and that I only ate once a day because I couldn't afford to eat more often. I felt ashamed that I didn't have the clothing the other girls had there who attended, and there weren't that many girls on this campus. I felt ashamed I was outnumbered there by men and it was a woman who seemed to be betraying me by using me for her advantage. I was young. I didn't know who to go to for help. I showed up every day and served the drinks. A few weeks after I started, one mathematics/economics professor became more and more enamored with me. I was very shy and never made eye contact, but that didn't matter. He asked my name and recognized my last name as the same as a student's in one of his classes. The student was my father, and they had become friends. Small world. Every day, I began to learn what it was like to be outnumbered in an age of sexism that had not yet begun to even start to change, and every day it seemed I had to fight to prove myself. And it was wearing on me. I was getting so tired of it. One weekend, I decided to spend the night with my parents and siblings in a nearby town. The professor who had become obsessed with me was trying to find me at my address, which he had found in the admissions office, but I wasn't home. He got drunk. By the way, this man was 55 years old and I was 18, and showed up at my parents' house banging on the door. My dad opened the door and at first was confused. Why was his professor here at his home? The professor saw me and began to yell, "There she is, I love your daughter, she means everything to me." My siblings and I began to cry because we were so scared and my dad was furious at this man for hunting me down. He called the police and the professor was arrested. I never went back to that job on campus, and the weird thing is that no one even called to find out what happened to me and if I was even alive. It was then I made my decision. I changed my major from the pre-med curriculum the next semester and enrolled in teaching, simply because in teaching I would not be surrounded by men. I had made the connection between that episode and many others I experienced on campus, and this constant battle was just too much for me. I was just not strong enough. I wish I could have fought the good fight then for the future of the rest of young women all around trying to pave their way into a male-dominated profession, but I had been too traumatized. And for that, I once again felt ashamed. I still feel shame in it. I ended up loving teaching and enjoyed every bit of it. I just wish I would have been stronger so I could have pursued my dream of becoming a doctor. This was my worst experience of being a student.